this is the new, and I don't know what is going on at Ryobi. This was not announced really, during their presentation a couple months ago. And there was several tools there, like the newer version of this with the USB-C and the charging capabilities that has not come out yet. This would just appear online without any word, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 weeks later it's in the store. So I don't know what is going on there with their sort of scheme. I don't understand what their point is. But anyway, what's good about this one, they're kind of expanding a little bit. And I would have my light on here, but it went out. I just haven't replaced it yet. But anyway, you can use an 18-volt battery to run this, or you can hook it up to a 12-volt car battery and run it as well. Now I was saying you can run a blender, maybe I guess a larger TV, or in a crock pot, a smaller crock pot obviously, or a slow cooker. With the battery, 300 watts, a light bulb, a fan, your router or internet modem, and the 12-volt car adapter you can use to power these devices. Now what it means by that is, just like your classic inverter, you can plug into the 12-volt adapter or the cigarette lighter, and then you can run the device. You can run these with that as well, but keep in mind, I think you're only getting 120 watts. So really just for computers, laptops, not really for much else. But you can use that while you're in the car, when you're driving, if you don't want to use your actual battery. Now I don't know if it will charge the battery at the same time that you have it plugged up while you're using devices. I don't really know yet, but we'll see. We got the USB-C, 2 USB-A's, 220 volt outlets, and your 12-volt plug. Again, maybe if you've got some older equipment or some things that have the 12-volt adapter, you can plug into there as well. It comes with the alligator clamps, the 12-volt car adapter, and the mounting bracket. So let's crack this baby open and see what she's all about. So kind of interested in seeing the different ways you can use to recharge these batteries, if you can use it as a charger. Obviously there's been a lot of questions, especially on that video. They're asking, can you jump a car with this? No, and the answer is no, you cannot. I don't know if they're in the works, trying to make one, or what the deal is. But no, there is no word on when or if this will indeed do that. No, definitely won't do that. But I don't know if they're going to make one that will do that. All right, off the bat, we got some nice cooling fans. All right, here's your 12-volt adapter. Here's your positive alligator clamp. I will say, it's a pretty meaty connector there. Looks a lot more meatier than in the picture. And there's your negative lead. And here at the bottom, you got your mounting clips. All right. So, power inverter, 800 watts with the battery again. They're giving you a little area light. 300 watts with the 18-volt battery. Now, obviously, the outputting an 18-volt battery at 300 watts is definitely going to drain your smaller batteries. So I would not probably put anything smaller than a 4, preferably a 6 on here, because it's really going to eat it up depending on what you have it plugged up to. There's your 120 volt outlets your USB-A, USB-C, and there's your nice little rubber cover for your 12 volt DC adapter. But anyway, I got a 9. Let's plug this bad boy up. See what she does. Oh, underneath here, here's your 12 volt adapter input. That would be from this cord here. All right, so we got her plugged in. Nice. Guess you could even do it this way. But what's nice on this screen, I think it's going to tell you some information. Let's peel the sticker off. And this is similar to the newer design of these, the pre-USB-C version, where you're going to get, you have to hold the button down. Why is it so hard to get on? Jeez, that sticker was on there. All right, so here we're reading, got a full battery. It's showing you that it's recognized it's got a battery plugged up. We're at 20.7 volts. And let's see if we can start plugging some stuff up. All right, here I've got a sort of a remote rotary tool here. Plug it up and see what happens. All right, so nothing's changed, obviously. We'll start this at 1. So we're at 1 here on the rotary tool. Let's flip the switch. All right, so voltage dropping a little bit. Let's crank this bad boy up. Running kind of weird. Here we go. For 20.2 volts, let's crank her all the way up. So this is running wide open. I'm getting at 20.1 volts. This is skipping all around while I was doing that. But anyway, now we'll go back up to, see, we're at 20.5 volts. I see our fans. Don't know when they're gonna kick on, but all right, now let's unplug this. All right, now we got an oldie goldie shop vac, Blue Hawk shop vac. Let's see what she's gonna do. All right, she's plugged up. I doubt it's gonna run it, but we'll see. No. All right, not gonna run it. Overload. Nope. All right, so it's not gonna power your little mini shop vac, obviously. It's just this is just seeing what it can do, not that it's actually gonna do it. Obviously, going into this is not gonna turn a 4 horsepower electric motor, but it will do everything that this can do and more. Let's reset it. So there's that. So yeah, I wanted to get some more testing together. I just wanted to kind of make this video real quick. I'll edit this and we'll add on some more videos. It'll probably be later on today or tomorrow, but we'll see what else she can do. Matter of fact, while we're here, this is a grow light that I have, LED of course, and it only pulls, it's only a 9-watt LED. But let's plug her up. All right, she's in and on. Now we're at 20.5 volts, 20.6. 20.5, 20.6. We got the little area light. You know, again, nice little light, just about as bright as this. Probably about the same, probably the same exact thing just in there. So anyway, neat little device. You know, obviously the most benefit's going to be from, you know, hooking it up to your car battery. You know, it doesn't have to be the one in your car you're using at that point. You can take any 12-volt battery and plug this up to it. And I think I actually have a 12 amp hour or a 12-volt battery, you know, that's not a car battery, that's still technically a 12-volt battery. And then we'll do some testing with that and see, you know, what we can get out of it. Stay tuned. All right, here I've got a 43-inch LG 1080p LCD TV. I got it hooked up to a power strip. So we'll turn her on. Is a bit of a noise. Coming from the TV. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. Probably not a good thing, but let's power her on. All right, we're at 19.7. All right, the fans have just kicked on. Now we're back up to 20.2. All right, now we got the fans turning. Initially it was like a whoosh, and then they sort of kicked back on. All right. She's on, she's working. No problem. Although we still are dealing with that little, I don't know, everything should be okay. I mean, this 300 watts should be plenty enough to run this TV and the Apple TV. The fans are still spinning. Turn the TV off and the Apple TV off. I think what's making that noise is the Amazon TV, I should say. Nope. Thought it was the Amazon TV making that noise, but it's the actual TV itself. So we're off. That was one test. It will run 1080p TV, no problem it seems. All right, we just did the TV test. Now here is something you might run with this, or even, you know, an oscillating fan. But we've got your standard $25 20-inch box fan. And right now we're at 20.5 volts. So it did take a little bit out of the battery running that TV. Oh, I can't quite press the button underneath here. But anyway, so we'll turn this on and see what happens. Getting a little feedback from the motor. Other than that, this display will go to sleep after a minute or so. You just tap that button and make it come back on. But we're on speed 1. Let's crank her up to speed 2. All right, no change in the voltage drop. Let's go to number 3. All right, I will say this does definitely seem you weren't running this better than the 150 watt inverter. Strength wise, although we are still getting a bit of a hum, which is not unusual from what I found. Now, let's see Give me a minute. I'm gonna plug both of these fans up and we'll get her going. All right, I got both of these fans plugged up. Let's start with the oscillating fan. All right, go and turn that bad boy on all the way. So it's on number 3. It's oscillating, it's doing its thing. Voltage down to 20.1. All right, let's take the box fan to speed 1. All right, now she's on 1. Let's crank her. All right, we're on number 3 and number 3. Voltage on the battery has dropped to 19.7 and we're sitting at 3 bars. Now, with them running full speed like this, it will do it. It's not gonna do it very long. The point of this is not to test the runtime of this unit and the battery, but to see what it can do. It will run, I don't know the wattage of these fans, but it's enough to put enough of a strain on it for I just got this off the charger. The only thing I've done with it is run the TV and that LED light bulb that you saw. That's it. Run the TV for 30 seconds and then the LED light bulb for just 30 seconds. So right now, we dropped down to 3 bars, and that may just be the initial voltage drain from these fans. But so far, so good. I'm liking what I see. We're at 3 bars still. Just even turn our light on if we're having problems seeing. And the light doesn't really drain the battery at all. We're still at 19.6. 19.6. Now, let's see if our fans are definitely spinning and turning. Successful test. Yeah, the fans are not very loud, but they are spinning, which is going to keep this cool, which is going to make it last longer. You don't want these kind of things to get hot, especially if you're using it for long periods of time, you know, as an inverter in your car. All right, now we're back up to 20.2 volts. The battery has come back up to full. Obviously, it's not 100% full. We may even see the voltage creep up a little bit more, maybe another decimal pointer, maybe not, but it's pretty interesting. 20.3, there we go. Now the fans are still spinning. You can't hear them, but there's 3 of them and they're still spinning, cooling this thing down. It doesn't feel hot at all. All right, as you can see, it's pretty dark out here. Maybe you might be camping somewhere and you know, you want to put up some lights. Obviously not like, you know, doing some work lights, but you know, you're kind of chilling outside. You want to get some lights going. Anyway, you take your little inverter and let's see if it works. I've got these lights you can't see obviously right a second, but I've got, here, I zoomed in a little bit. We've got them plugged in to these string lights. Let's see what it's going to do. All right, we're on. Boom. 20.3, 20.2 volts. And we got 100 feet of LED string lights. Now, obviously, you're not going to be working out here, but you'll be able to see enough, you know, to be able to talk to somebody who's sitting over here. You know, you'll be able to talk to somebody who's sitting here. I don't have any cushions. They're in there. But if there were cushions, you'd sit here, somebody would sit over here, and you'd be able to communicate with somebody. You'd be able to see what you're doing. I can cook on the grill over there and see, you know, in the summertime, I mean, when it's warmer out, but cooler at night, the kids can play in the sandbox, the little water table, which we need to get out of here because it's starting to freeze, and the little playhouse. You know, it doesn't really light up the backyard much from here, but you know, it looks really nice from, you know, down there on the ground or over there by the road. You can kind of, you know, if you're at a campsite, you can set this up, and it'll probably run these lights for a good long while. And you just turn it off whenever you're done. We're still at 20.2 volts, and you know, the fans are not spinning yet. Doesn't really have to. You can turn this on if you want some extra light somewhere, but not really necessary. And to be honest with you, I bet that 150 watt inverter will probably run these lights too. Again, not really trying to find something that'll push this thing to the limit. Oh, you saw the shot vac. We knew that wasn't gonna work plugging that up, but just going to show you, you know, it's definitely not gonna run that. It'll run the TV, it'll run the box fans, it'll run lights. You know, if you're at a campsite, you can use your truck battery, car battery, and it's got the voltage on here. So when you notice your battery starts to drop below a certain voltage, you go crank it up for, you know, 5, 10, 30 minutes and let it run, get your battery charged back up, and you're good to go. Maybe you have some other 12 volt batteries, you know, you maybe charge them, you know, with a solar panel, you know, or something like that, and you're good to go. If you don't see any more videos, any more clips after this video, this is the last one I did. You know, if you do, well, then the next one will be the last one I did. But if this is the last one, you know, I might do a part 2 and go around and try to find some more things you might would run. But practically, you run some string lights, you run a TV, you run some box fans. You know, having that 150 watt inverter really helped me. You know, when we have a storm, you know, I don't really get good cell service here at my house, but being able to keep the router and the modem on, you know, I'm able to connect to the internet. I'm able to make calls over the internet, send text messages, check on everybody, that kind of thing. You know, the kids are bored to tears and they got nothing to, you know, they got nothing to do. You know, we can give them some lights they can see. We can plug some lamps up. You know, really a whole lot of things that you can do with these that, you know, you might not be able to run a microwave or an air conditioner, but that's not really the point. That's not what they're designed to do. You know, charge devices, run small electronics, you know, lights. You know, you'd be good to go for a couple hours like this. And we're still at 20.2 volts. So no real voltage drop at all. Again, like I said, I think that 150 watt inverter would run this just fine. All right, this is what you get for not reading the literature, but I did find something interesting. Originally, when you plug everything up, this is reading voltage. But what you do is you can press it one more time. Now it shows you the voltage. Originally, when you turn on, you're looking at the voltage. You press the green button again, now you're looking at the watt draw. Now, this is 300 watt max with the 18 volt battery. Right now we're pulling between 58 and 60 watts on speed 1. Let's crank her up to speed 2. Now we're probably going to get close to the, now we're looking at, we've got 6 more watts on speed 2. Let's see what speed 3 does. Probably getting close to 70 or 75. All right, go 73 watts. So it's really interesting, really cool feature built in that I didn't see originally before. That's pretty wild. So we know that the 150 watt inverter will handle this just fine. It will also handle the oscillating fan, but barely. Now we're getting it to the upper echelon of what it can do. Now, let's go back and see the TV, what kind of wattage is pulling. All right, it's pretty interesting. Got the TV fired up. And we're pulling 75 watts. Now, I thought originally this was gonna be a lot more, because when I first turned it on, it shot up to 140 watts, but then went back down to 75 or 76 watts. So this TV with the Fire TV, 43-inch 1080p LCD TV, it's gonna pull you about 75 watts. So well within the range of this. Now, as far as the buzzing sound goes, I don't know if this is pure sine or if it's a modified sine wave, but that's probably where that noise is coming from. But it works just fine. There's no issues with it. 75 watts. All right, now we're back outside with our string lights. See what kind of... All right, so they're pulling 33 watts consistently. It's not jumping around. I don't think the fan's on, but battery's still functioning at 20.2, 20.1 volts, 33 watts. So this will probably run this a pretty substantial amount of time, and that 150 watt inverter will handle this with ease. All right, I think I'm gonna end it here. Overall, I like it. It's bigger. It's even bigger than that 40 volt inverter that Ryobi has. It really does about the same thing, except you're using a 18 volt battery, so there's a trade-off. Smaller battery, bigger device. It's really about the size of this without the handle. Obviously, you're just using a 40 volt battery for that. There's no cable, there's no battery leads. You don't have, I think they just have the one outlet on that 40 volt inverter. And I think they just have the USB-A, not USB-C. But this is a 20 watt power delivery USB. So I got my pineapple in here underneath the lamp, trying to keep it alive. But anyway, really like the feature where it shows you the wattage. It's something that they didn't have to add on there, but they did. That prevents you from having to go out and buy additional devices to kind of plug in here. Harbor Freight sells that kilowatt device. A lot of people use that to test, to find out what their current draw is for the device that they're using. This will only tell you the wattage of what you have going out. It won't, tell you anything else. And it just shows you the battery voltage drop. And obviously, once these get to a certain point, they'll shut off. And I think it'll probably be interesting to see at what point the chip in here will shut the battery off. How much below, how close to 18 volts will it let the battery get before it shuts it off. But anyway, we'll come back next week, maybe this weekend. We'll hook up these leads and we'll see, we'll try to test it out a little bit with the 800 watts and see what we can do with that. How small a 12 volt battery can you use? Obviously you're not going to be able to use something small that fits in your hand. Obviously you're not going to be able to use, these 12 volt batteries. It's just going to shoot it. It's just going to probably fry it, to be honest with you. And there's no way to, I'm sure you could actually make your own leads and do all that, but again, I would not do that if I were you, just because 800 watts is going to put pretty good significant strain, especially if they're only capping the 18 volt batteries out at 300 watts. But anyway, we'll come back, play around with the 12 volt capability, the 800 watts, and we'll play around with this and see what we got. Maybe even toy around with the 120 watt inverter part of it. You plug the inverter, you plug the 12-volt adapter into your vehicle, and then you plug the lead into here. But we'll see you next time.